Good evening, I'm Amaniko, and thanks for joining me this Tuesday on 7Edition. These are your top stories. Malaysia to announce additional measures to curb spread of China coronavirus. And Chinese authorities confirm SARS-linked virus can spread through human contact. Two Johor UMNO leaders were charged with money laundering in separate Kuala Lumpur Sessions courts today. This after they allegedly failed to declare to the Internal Revenue Board (IRB) monies purportedly received from the party's former president, Datuk Seri Najib Razak, 7 years ago. Both Pontian Member of Parliament, Datuk Seri Ahmad Mazlan, and former Felda Chairman, Datuk Seri Shahri Abdul Samad, however, pleaded not guilty to both charges. Datuk Seri Ahmad claimed trial to 2 counts before Judge Azman Ahmad. The first count for not declaring to the IRB the 2 million ringgit he received from Datuk Seri Najib via a cheque dated November 27, 2013. He also faces another charge of giving false statements when questioned by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) at the Parliament building on July 4th last year, during which, according to the charge sheet, he denied receiving any money from the former Premier. The court allowed 500,000 ringgit bail with one surety to the accused and ordered him to surrender his passport to the court before fixing the case for mention on February 21st. Meanwhile, before Judge Azura Alwi, Tan Sri Shahri, who is Johor Bahru UMNO Division Chief, was charged with failing to declare 1 million ringgit he purportedly received from Datuk Seri Najib on November 28, 2013. The judge set bail at 350,000 ringgit with one surety and asked the accused to also surrender his passport to the court. His case will come up for mention on February 24th. Several UMNO top brass, including its president Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, was also present during the proceedings to give support to the duo. The money laundering charge carries fine of up to 5 million ringgit and maximum 5 years imprisonment upon conviction. The Penang National Unity and Integration Department (JPNIN) director was charged with power abuse for awarding a contract over 45,000 ringgit to his son's company. At the same time, his son Muhammad Aliz Azim is also accused of abetting his father in getting the said project. Muhammad Saidi allegedly committed the offence at the Penang JPNIN office in Georgetown between March 2016 and December 2016. Both pleaded not guilty to the charges and are now facing up to 20 years in jail and a fine under the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) Act. Judge Ahmad Azari Abdul Hamid allowed the two men bail of 15,000 ringgit with one surety each. The court fixed February 25th for remention. A 40-year-old man from India was sentenced to death today by the Kuala Terengganu High Court after he was found guilty of smuggling 7 kilograms of ketamine 3 years ago. Syed Ibrahim Shahul Hamid was found with drugs worth about 700,000 ringgit in a suitcase packed with saris when he claimed it on arrival at the Sultan Mahmud Airport in Kuala Terengganu. They were found hidden in a modified compartment of his suitcase. Judge Datuk Zainal Azman Abdul Aziz imposed the sentence after finding that the prosecution had successfully proved the case beyond reasonable doubt and concluded that the defence's argument was purely a denial. Syed Ibrahim was charged under the Dangerous Drugs Act. Owners of the voices in the audio recordings revealed by the MACC Chief Commissioner, Latifa Koya, earlier this month are expected to be known within this week or next week at the latest. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Abdul Hamid Badur said police would then summon these individuals to assist their investigation into the controversial audio clips.
Mereka yang didakwa, suara di dalam apabila dapat disahkan, suara itu milik sesiapa, individu tersebut akan dipanggil untuk diambil kenyataan.
Setakat ini belum tahu lagi dah suara siapa dalam
minggu ni sedang minggu ni.
So maksudnya minggu ni akan diketahui lah nama pemilik suara.
Ya, ya.
In a packed press conference on January 8th, Latifah revealed audio recordings of alleged information leakage from the Attorney General's chambers on its probe into One Malaysia Development Berhad and SRC International Sdn Berhad. She also alleged that it was a criminal conspiracy at the highest level and that the 9 audio clips received from an anonymous source were authentic. Among those implicated in the audio recordings were former Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Razak, his wife Datin Sri Rosman Mansor, former MACC Chief Tan Sri Zulkifli Ahmad, and several others, including 2 foreign individuals. In another development, the top cop said police are still investigating the allegation of a criminal plot to tarnish the image of the MACC and its chief commissioner. It was believed that the perpetrated plan to discredit both the anti-graft body and Latifah was following her press conference on the shocking audio recordings. On January 14th, the graft buster lodged a police report against several individuals, including a lawyer, for allegedly masterminding the criminal plot to smear the reputation of Latifah and the MACC. According to Latifah, the police report was lodged to send a clear message to those behind the plot that she would not be threatened or intimidated from carrying out her duty as the MACC Chief Commissioner. The Home Ministry has refuted claims that the status of a person's religion in their MyCard will be abolished, describing it as fake news. The allegation went viral on messaging app WhatsApp before it was brought to the ministry's attention on January 18th. In a statement released today, the ministry said that recording religious status in identification cards comes under the purview of the National Registration Department through the National Registration Regulations (PPPN). Besides that, recording details on Islam on the front of the identification card is in line with Regulations 5(2) of the PPPN. For other religions, the information is stored inside the identification card's chip. The ministry also cautioned the public against spreading unverified news or information, as it might cause uneasiness among the people as well as disrupt public order. After the breather, another case of a flying Myvi. Don't go away. Meanwhile, the announcement on the human-to-human transmission of the virus has fueled anxiety about the prospect of a major outbreak as millions begin travelling for Lunar New Year celebrations. There are fears that the virus could spread swiftly and further across the country.
这个是肯定有的，而且那个病毒这几天我看是一种集中爆发的趋势，可能春运期间有交叉感染的情况的话，可能疫情的蔓延会比较的严重。因为我老家又离着这个疫情的比较集中爆发地区比较近，这种情况下，其实包括我父母呀，包括我些同事啊、同学呀，朋友圈里面都转了很多信息。这个其实怎么说呢？如果你做好防护，我认为如果个人做好防护的话，没有太大问题。
因为你看，我刚正好去买了口罩，然后我早上的时候是在我们家小区附近去买口罩，都已经买断了。然后肯定还是会很担心的，毕竟人流量这么大。新闻上、微博上一直都在刷那个信息，也比较关注这个。
These travel plans of millions of people could also mean that authorities will not be able to monitor further spread of the disease. And experts say there already could be many cases going undetected.
Every flu season, and we are in the flu season, it's the exact same advice. Hand hygiene. Wash your hands often. Don't rub your nose and mouth. Please take care. If you are ill, put on a mask. If you go into a crowded place, put on a mask, even if you are not ill, because others may be, even if they have cough etiquette or sneeze etiquette, they may still get in touch with you.
Authorities have also advised travelers to be on the lookout for symptoms, including fever, cough, breathing difficulties, and pneumonia. At the home front, Malaysia has taken note of the WHO announcement that it would convene an emergency panel meeting this week on the SARS-like virus, which has spread beyond China's borders. Deputy Health Minister Dr. Lee Boon Chye said Malaysia was already on high alert and the ministry would be announcing additional measures to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. He added the meeting by the world body reflected the potential seriousness posed by the mysterious coronavirus infection, which is now spreading to other countries, as well as the appropriate actions that need to be taken. Health Director General Datuk Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah on Monday announced that response teams at all international entry points and health facilities across the country had been placed on high alert following the outbreak. Thermal scanner desks and health quarantine centres at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport have also been placed on a high surveillance mode. On the parallels to the previous SARS outbreak that affected Malaysia in 2003, Dr. Lee said the coronavirus also spreads like the influenza virus. As such, it was important to prevent patients developing such infection from entering Malaysia. Travellers detected with the symptoms at all entry points will be quarantined and treated immediately. Now, airlines are also taking necessary measures to prevent the coronavirus outbreak in China from spreading beyond ground zero. Malaysia Airlines said it is abiding by aviation health procedures placed by the WHO and International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, when interacting with a potentially infectious traveller. In a statement, the airline also said it is implementing certain control measures such as pre-departure screening for travellers who are unwell. The national carrier has also provided medical communicable disease kit in every aircraft as a precautionary step for dealing with sick passengers in flight. New in light of these new developments, let's find out more about this coronavirus. With us on the line is respiratory specialist Dr. Kao Ken Seong from Sunway Medical Centre. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yes, Amanda. However, rather than differences, the new virus, based on the analysis of its genetic code, has shown that the 2019 coronavirus is more closely related to SARS than any other human coronavirus. Both are coronaviruses, which is a broad family of viruses, and only 6, and now the new one would make it 7, are known to infect people. And like SARS, scientists believe an animal source is most likely the primary for the new virus, and human transmission has occurred.
Speaking of human-to-human transmission, which the Chinese authorities confirmed today, what can you tell us about this new development, Doctor?
That's right, Amanda. The main way that human-to-human transmission works for the novel 2019 coronavirus is likely, like other coronaviruses, spread through an infected person's respiratory secretions, such as coughing and sneezing, and also through close contact, such as caring for or living with an infected person. Others include contact with infected live animals or ingestion of contaminated uncooked meat and eggs of affected animals.
Doctor, how accurate is the predicted number of people infected with the virus? Last week, a paper published by scientists with the MRC Centre for Global Infectious Disease Analysis at Imperial College in London said that the number of those affected in Wuhan was likely to be well over 1,000.
Not very accurately, in my opinion. This is just an estimate, and I will tell you why. In our interconnected world, disease can potentially infect billions in weeks or less. Airlines carry infected people from one side of the planet to another faster than any time in human history. Almost any city on Earth is a maximum of 18 hours away, so the number of people infected could be far greater than official figures might suggest.
Now finally, Doctor, how do we go about dealing with a virus that is new? There's not much information about it and we are constantly learning something new about it.
I think the best way to deal with a new virus that can potentially cause a global pandemic is the willingness of countries affected to share information regarding the etiology, clinical manifestation, transmission, and most importantly, the genomic sequencing data of the emerging coronaviruses from cultured virus or from samples received from pneumonia patients in order to understand and study this new virus. Closer to home, my advice is if you are just returning from a high-risk area, or are in contact with confirmed cases or suspected cases, and are yourself suffering from signs of infection such as fever, cough, and breathing difficulties, then seek immediate medical attention. Otherwise, avoid contact with people who are unwell or showing signs of respiratory illnesses. Practice your cough ethics, such as coughing into your tissue, Wear masks and wash your hands frequently, and don't eat raw, uncooked meats and eggs.
Thank you so much for your insights, Doctor, and thank you for joining us this evening. Moving on. In other foreign news, a storm raging through much of eastern Spain has claimed at least 4 lives, with heavy snowfall, strong winds, and record waves causing many public services to close. The Alicante airport has also been forced to temporarily close, disrupting more than 200 flights. More than 30 Spanish provinces were on high alert, with 9 provinces given red warnings. It was reported that wind speed in parts of eastern Spain reached 115 kilometers per hour on Monday. Waves of over 8 meters in height were spotted by port authorities in Valencia, setting a new record. 2 people died of hypothermia near Valencia, while in Avila, a man died when roof tiles hit his head after they were dislodged by strong winds. Another man was killed by a vehicle on a snowbound road in Asturias. The storm is not expected to let up until at least Wednesday. When we return, Rafael Nadal launches bid for record-equaling 20th major title. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. We're back with clickbait for what's trending and making the rounds in the cyber world today. A flying Myvi broke the internet once again. It seems like there's nothing the car cannot do, from landing lopsided onto a stationary GTR to landing on a moving Toyota Camry. And now, the king of Malaysian roads have taken things to a whole new level when footage caught a white Myvi stuck on a high divider. Take a look. The white Myvi caught netizens' attention after it was recorded stuck on top of a high divider in the middle of the highway. The incident is believed to have happened in Johor Bahru along the highway heading to Woodlands. It is unclear how the accident happened, but netizens speculate that the Myvi driver may have been making a sudden maneuver to the next exit while driving fast. They claim that the driver might have misjudged the distance and then drove up the divider, getting stuck there. And of course, the comments came in. One netizen commented that it looks like the Myvi couldn't take flight for long. Many others said that they expected nothing less from the king of Malaysian roads, as it never disappoints. Well, we imagine flying cars in 2020, but definitely not like this. Air France KLM has submitted a proposal to acquire 49% stake in Malaysia Airlines, while Japan Airlines has shown interest in buying 25%. According to Reuters, citing sources with knowledge of the matter, domestic carrier Air Asia Group and Malindo Air have also submitted proposals for the national carrier. Malaysia Airlines last year signed a joint venture agreement with Japan Airlines, JAL, covering flights between Malaysia and Japan, which the Japanese airline said could be expanded in the future to cover US flights. Malaysia Airlines and JAL are both members of the One World Airline Alliance, while Air France KLM is part of the rival SkyTeam Alliance. Sources also said the bids from the foreign carriers are more comprehensive and strategic, as both plan to capitalize on the strategic location of Malaysia for their operations. Air France KLM had proposed setting up a hub for maintenance, repair and overhaul services in Malaysia, while JAL had offered to make the Southeast Asian country its regional hub, including for low-cost flights. The government had been seeking a strategic partner for its national airline, which has struggled to recover from 2 tragedies: the mysterious disappearance of flight MH370 and the shooting down of flight MH17 over eastern Ukraine. The government has yet to reach an agreement with regards to the restructuring of excise duty policy involving locally assembled vehicles. Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng, however, assured that should there be any changes, it will not affect the current excise duty rate.
Itu sebab saya cakap bahawa ini belum dimutakmakkan dan dimutakhirkan kerana keadaan masih sama. Hanya dari segi pelaporan ia mesti terus. Dan tentu ini perbincangan yang diadakan berterusan. Tapi apa yang digembar-gemburkan ini saya rasa tak benar.
Lim also urged the public to wait for an official announcement from the government and not to take any speculation in the market as the final say. He was commenting on a news report that there could be a hike involving the completely knocked down CKD vehicles following the announcement on possible restructuring of automobile duty rates by the government. According to the reports, his ministry and the International Trade and Industry Ministry are in talks to determine the revised rates for excise duty policy involving locally assembled vehicles. Bursa Malaysia ended in red today in line with the downtrend in regional markets as losses in selected heavyweights put pressure on the local index. At 5 p.m., the FBMK LCI eased 1.55 points to 1,587.33 from yesterday's close of 1,588.88. On to stocks to watch. Net interest margins of CIMB Group Holdings Berhad are expected on the lower end of its compression guidance, with asset quality looking stable and credit charge slightly lower than its midpoint guidance. The company's upcoming final year 2019 results, including loans target at 6%, is expected to be within expectations over undemanding valuation and a reasonable dividend yield at 4%. Next and last on the list. Axis REIT's top line was up by 6%, likely on contributions from newly acquired properties, namely Upeka Aerotek Syndrome Berhad, Senawang Industrial Property, and low single-digit positive portfolio reversions. Its final year 2020 to 2021 result is expected to see minimal leases. The company's outlook is reported stable due to its continuous acquisitions of new industrial assets, which provide long-term earnings and DPU stability given the nature of the long-term leases.